Do you love lasagna but hate the amount of time it takes to throw it together? Well, I have the recipe for you. Today I'm sharing with you my recipe for the easiest lasagna you will ever make. You don't need to sacrifice time or flavor to have a classic on the table. Hey guys, I'm Kristen from A Mindful Mom, where I get into the kitchen and share realistic recipes on realistic budgets, helping you to have a more fulfilled family time. Today I'm sharing with you one of my all-time favorite recipes. This recipe is for lasagna, and it is my absolute favorite comfort food. But lasagna has a reputation of taking forever to make. However, I'm going to teach you my favorite hacks and tips making lasagna possible for even busy weeknights. This recipe may not be classic, but it delivers on flavor. Your family is going to love it. To start our lasagna, we want to make a meat sauce. Now you have a lot of options here. First, you can completely leave out the meat if you want a vegetarian lasagna, or you can use ground meat like ground turkey, ground chicken, ground pork, ground sausage. Or one of my favorite hacks for when I'm really busy is to, instead of adding meat to my spaghetti sauce, I add a layer of pepperoni in between the layers of the lasagna. Pepperoni doesn't need cooked, it's already cooked, and it adds a lot of zip and a lot of flavor to lasagna, and it's a perfect hack for busy weeknights. But tonight, I'm going to be using lean ground beef. I'm going to brown up my meat in a skillet that's been preheated to medium-high heat. Break up your meat as it cooks and add in salt, pepper, and garlic powder for additional flavor. If you're using ground Italian sausage, you can omit the salt, pepper, and garlic powder because it will already be really flavorful on its own. Once your meat has browned, drain off any excess grease and return to the skillet. To our meat, we need to add in our spaghetti sauce. Now we're using 24 ounces of spaghetti sauce. You could use your favorite homemade sauce or you can use store-bought sauce. On busy nights, I take a shortcut and grab a jar of my favorite spaghetti sauce right from the grocery store. There's a lot of really great brands on the market now. And to our sauce, we're going to add in 1 cup of water. Today, we're using regular lasagna noodles, and we're not going to pre-boil them. That's right, we're not using the oven-ready lasagna sheets. We're just using regular old lasagna noodles, which are much more affordable and easy to find, and we don't need to pre-cook them. That's because we're adding water, and our lasagna is going to cook in foil, so that extra moisture is going to help cook our noodles as the lasagna cooks. I also think it makes it a little bit more delicious because the noodles absorb the delicious sauce as they're baking. Once our sauce has been prepared, we need to make up our filling. I use cottage cheese in my filling, which I know is not traditional. You can certainly sub out the cottage cheese and use ricotta cheese in its place. I grew up eating cottage cheese in my lasagna and I love it. But you can do what works for you. If you need this to be dairy-free, you can even use tofu and omit the cheese. To our cottage cheese, we're going to add in 1 egg that will hold this filling together, crushed red pepper flakes. Certainly omit the red pepper flakes if you prefer a recipe with mild spice level, Parmesan cheese, dried oregano, garlic, and fresh parsley. If you don't happen to have fresh parsley on hand, just omit. Don't replace with the dried parsley as it doesn't have the same flavor. I promise you your lasagna will still be fine without the fresh herbs. Mix your cottage cheese or ricotta cheese mixture up until it's just combined. And now we need to layer our lasagna in a pan. Use a 9 by 13 pan and pour in a little bit of olive oil. Brush evenly over your pan. This will help the lasagna to not stick to your pan. Start by layering out a thin layer of your tomato sauce to cover the bottom of your pan. Top with noodles just to cover the tomato sauce. Do not overlap your noodles. Because our noodles are not pre-cooked, we want them to cook evenly, and if we overlapped our noodles at all, there's a chance that one of them may not get cooked fully. You can use whole wheat noodles, you can use regular noodles, you can use lasagna sheets. Today I'm using lasagna sheets, but remember, any noodle that you like will work. Next, spread out half your cottage cheese mixture and top with spaghetti sauce. If you're using pepperoni, go ahead and add that now, and then top with an additional layer of noodles. Repeat the process, finishing with a layer of noodles. Top with the remaining spaghetti sauce, and then cover with cheese. I'm using a mixture of mozzarella and freshly grated Parmesan cheese. You can use pizza cheese, you can use provolone, you can use all mozzarella. Use whatever you have on hand. Then you want to cover your pan tightly with foil. This is really important. We want to seal in all that moisture so that our noodles can steam and cook to perfection. Place your lasagna in an oven that's been preheated to 375 degrees and bake for 45 minutes, covered. Uncover your lasagna and finish baking for 15 minutes. Once your lasagna has baked, remove from the oven and let set for 10 to 15 minutes so that it's nice and easy to slice. Once your lasagna has set up, slice up and sit down and enjoy a delicious family meal together. For this recipe and more recipes, be sure to visit amindfulmom.com and hit subscribe so that you can be alerted to more tips and tricks that will save you time and money in the kitchen. Happy cooking!